Hello, hello, and welcome back to Password. We just had a fun talk with Oswin, so good time, good time. He wandered over and led me out of the lab. I followed close behind so that I could see the white mass of his back, but far enough behind that I was out of arm's reach. Alright, I can skip this. Woo! Okay. Falling asleep was hard, but it happened eventually. My mind was racing, wondering about what the next day would bring, and now the others would react and how the others would react to Oswin, not to mention everything that he'd told me about stuff missing from the lab. How much does that change? Huh. Curious. Haas had been a solid friend from from the moment he came into my life, but being at the mansion had shown me just how much we'd kept from each other. Maybe it was just an expectation that someone else would have told him about Dad because I sure hadn't. No surprise he was confused and offended that I wasn't opening up about it. Maybe upset was the wrong word for it, but it was coming from the room off to the side. I eased the door open. The moment I did, everything stopped. Ty? Hey. He wiped his face, pocketing his phone and looking at me from the sofa. I wandered close, and he shuffled over, making space for me to sit next to him. Hey, you alright? Yeah, I'm good. Can't sleep. I shook my head, slumping my shoulders. He carefully put an arm around my shoulder, and I leaned back against it to rest my head. I don't feel good. Yeah, I hear you, pup. I miss Dad, Ty, and then all this stuff going on, Yeah, no shit. I know when you're upset, and you worry the fuck out of us at dinner. I did? Hell, started before dinner with Haas coming to find me to bitch about you. He really did that? Well, maybe not like that, but I had to take him down to the gym so he would shut up. Went at it while we were well in the punching bag, really letting loose and how you were keeping him in the dark about shit. Not intentionally. Bullshit. You didn't tell him about your dad. It's hard, you know. He's your fucking friend. Rate he's going, he might end up being mine too. So you better tell him eventually. I whined, rolling my shoulders in a half-hearted attempt to get away, but he held me there. But he's pursuing you then. Well, I got something that might help. Huh? He pulled away and reached into his pocket for his phone, swiping around something until settling on something and showing me the screen. Here. He handed the phone out to me and placed an arm around my shoulder and cuddled in so we would watch together. It was a video, and I was scared to hit play just from the thumbnail. It's a video of Dad. Ty nodded and reached over and hit play, while my shaking hands held the phone. Just a sec, honey. Dad was waving to Mom off screen with an ice cream cone in one hand, with the camera in the other. It was the day we were at the beach, with the camera angled up just enough that Ty and I were in the background. What would you be doing that day? Frisbee. Without fail, the me in the recording stood up from digging something out of the sand and flashing it up towards Tyson, who looked about ready to run. I felt Ty rub my shoulder and arm as we continued to watch my dad talk about how we were at the beach with his 2 boys and lovely wife, as if this was some video journal. Ty, why do you have this? I've never heard Dad refer to Tyson as his son either. So part of me was still reeling how casual he'd said it in the video. He said nothing, instead just staring at the recording as Dad continued to ramble about stuff and the things that he was planning, the things that we ended up doing. Right up until the frisbee hit him in the back of the head from a stray throw by me. Ty. Sometimes I just watch this. Remember that I had some sort of decent family for a bit, you know? Your dad helped me with a bunch of stuff. He sent me a copy of this when I was feeling insecure about my own stuff because, well... He left the thought there, pulling his arm away to sit in his lap. The video ended with my dad stunned from his frisbee hitting the back of his head, tongue halfway out of his mouth, and ice cream in risk of falling to the ground. Because... why? He snuck a glance at me before closing his eyes, breathing in deep and turning to look at me properly. Because he wanted to make sure that neither of us ever forgot that we were loved. That he loved me, that he loved you, and that I... He gulped, gaze wavering before he eased the phone from his hand. Look, I'm not going all gay on you, but you're my brother. Not like 'cause of blood, but that's the closest thing I can put it down to. When you're hurting, it hurts me. So, just remember if shit goes down, I've got your back, alright? And, you know, the other thing. That... what? I don't... He looked me dead in the eye, pocketing the phone so he could place his hands freely on my shoulders. He stayed quiet, just holding me there. My heartbeat slowed down to a calm pace as we just stared at one another. The only sound were our breaths as quiet as they were. Ty, do you love me? His grip tightened ever so slightly. The next thing I knew, he had pulled me into his chest, his heart beating heavily in his chest. Do you? He just rubbed the back of my head, and with his heart beating in my ear, I started to doze off. Ty? I didn't get an answer, but I blacked out again soon after. Let what happens, happen. I felt I was being rocked to sleep, weightless, and when I came to again, it was morning. That was a sweet scene. I liked that. Oh shit. Yeah, that's when yeah, you kind of make up a little bit with Sal, right? Was that scene? What was this? I grumbled, looking down at my coffee. It went all right. I didn't like what he had planned, though. Only avoided that because I'd gotten lucky. Lucky? Well, I had a feeling I should go to the vault before meeting him, and well... I gestured over my coffee, hoping he'd fill in the blanks. Thankfully, he seemed to follow, nodding slowly. I see Master is up to his old tricks. Not that they were very entertaining, so I'll have to give him a stern talking to. Don't you work for him, though? That's complicated, Dave. The nature of our relationship is, muddled beyond just a master and servant. In what way? The old master of the house was, put simply, a lacking father. Raising the 3 siblings was a handful, but not something beyond my capabilities. They weren't that young, but inquisitive minds, as they are, proved trialing. I may be on his payroll, but the truth is that I'm much closer to a family member. Oh, I see. Oh, I can skip it. What was this conversation? Okay, what? Nothing, just... Haas shook his head, shrugging. Fine, keep your secrets. With how fast Haas cut in, Dean flinched, looking between us quickly. Hey, that's a bit rough, isn't it? His only reply came in the form of another shrug. Yeah, I figured. Alone? That was what I was planning, yeah. Haas went to say something else, but then just decided to shake his head, backing down. He cares. But it was hard to know what exactly to feel when it came to Haas in particular. Everyone else had found out about Dad either by being around when it happened, or in Dean's case, having been told by Orlando by accident. Part of me wished that Tyson just told him so I didn't have to, but figure that would also possibly make things worse if it wasn't me that came clean about it. Haas was nice, very much the kind of friend that I got along with, given he just was a more active Orlando, and I respected him for that. Even if he was a little bit over the top sometimes, he knew how to have fun, and it was a nice distraction for me. I owe you an apology, Haas. I sighed. I rolled my shoulders, sniffing the air. I could catch a whiff of his main balm. Not that I had a chance in doing so, all the way out here. But the scent, much like Haas, made it at ease and it reminded me of a happier time and place. I just wish I could get back there someday. Well, this is when he just yells, right? Yeah, Dave, let them fucking die. Huh. Oh yeah, this scene, yeah. Wait. The sound of twig snapping causes me to stop. Quickly looking around, I try to find a place to... Huh. So Jack is nearby. Probably. I'm going to assume. You don't see Jack until the day 13, right? I don't like that. Yeah, they all went off without you because they love you, but not really. And you decide to finally tell them, right? You're honest, right? No, you go to the thing first. Yes. And they talk to the Benson and Oswin about the vault and things. Oswin's eyes focused on me, looking me over. His brow furrowed briefly before turning back to Orlando. Was he just curious about what I could do with the vault after last night? I looked between the two of them, each of them looking like they were waiting for the other to start. What's wrong? You see, earlier today... The fuck was the yelling about? I blinked, frowning. Oh, okay. Yeah, you talk to your boyfriends. I mean, I probably still like these two the most. I don't know. I mean, Tyson's clearly the best, right? Right? Like, he's the cutest. I'm just a bad person, I know. He stepped forward, wrapping his arms carefully around me in an awkward hug. His heart wasn't in it, and after patting me gently on the back, he stepped back despite me left wanting more. Yeah, you've been keeping secrets from your friends. You were doing... Rich coming from you. You were going to inject me last night if I hadn't messed with the vault. True that. Was a surprise, to say the least. So, yeah, I think there's plenty to be gloomy about. This was meant to be a vacation. Isn't this a fun vacation, though? Right? Ah, yes, yes. Fun with friends, you do the thing. I don't remember this conversation. Oh, yeah, you go out here, you have... We meet with our best friend. Why is this different? There was an something about how he said that. Something that made... I knew that Osmond didn't like rabbits, so maybe that was what was coloring my opinion of this guy. Well then, Dave. Oh yeah, I can skip you. Okay, so I have to mention that to Osmond. Okay. It wasn't a time machine, was it? Is that why the door hadn't opened? Was Osmond just lying to me about it? No, that couldn't have been it. Osmond said that the machine works on trauma. He said that everything just repeats over and over, so it's not letting you travel through time as much as just looking at what happened last time. Okay, interesting. But then I thought about what Oswin said about rabbits. Maybe he was right about rabbits couldn't be trusted. Was he lying? I followed the directions he pointed out. Would I even make it back to the mansion? What if it just led me further away? I had a choice to make. Going to doubt Jack. Because you always just trust Jack, right? Like by default. Shaking my head, my gut was telling me that there was something off about what he said. Maybe it was the directions he'd given me, or maybe it was maybe what he was intending. Where had he even gone to anyway? His hidey hole? I wasn't willing to just follow him blindly. Worst case scenario, I could find my way back to the river and wander back to the campsite, or take shelter in the mill and make my way back in the morning. For all I knew, Jack was up to something. I didn't know what it was, or if it involved me, but I didn't trust him, including the directions to get back to the house. So I picked the direction and started walking, assuming I could just double back if I didn't run into anything. The immediate area around the mill seemed the same as the rest of the woods. If I hit a cliff wall, that seemed to continue on for a while and didn't follow back to the river, didn't bother following back to the river any further upstream when I found another waterfall. I don't know why I expected to run into Jack out here or find out where he went. But it was something I wish I knew. There was meant to be a shack here, right? Was that his hidey hole, or was the shack just what the mill was meant to be? I really was in the middle of nowhere. Alone. I thought about my friends back at the house. And if I'd be lost out here, much like Roswell was, it was a mistake to come out. It was a mistake to come out here by myself. I tried smelling the air to see if I could pick up anything, but the dust from the mill was still clogging my nose. All I could smell was musty, old smell of underground instead of the fresh mountain air. As I rubbed my nose, I caught the sound of Jack somewhere off. He seemed to be talking with someone, but I couldn't make out the specifics. I couldn't even make out which direction he was from, how his voice echoed off the trees. Sure. The more I focused on listening, the more I could make out some words here and there, but I couldn't hear much else. Some hyena. Yeah. Dunno. We're not out here for... He was on the phone. I went to check my pocket for my own and realized I must have left it back at the house. Letting the others know where I was would have been helpful had I remembered it. At the very least, Dean would have been able to find me, right? Maybe Roswell if he remembered the way to the campsite. Even then, I was assuming a lot of things that Roswell could even use that particular campsite when there could have been many others scattered about the place. You're killing me, you know that. Jack's voice got closer, and it seemed to be on the move. I didn't want to be caught unintentionally eavesdropping, so I doubled back to the mill and continued my way back downstream. What little light I had to work with was fading quickly. I remember Dean saying that there was no point heading out into the woods at night, just in case we injured ourselves. I wondered if maybe it was best I tried to make myself comfortable for the night. As much as I started to feel the temperature drop. The thought of being out here had made my stomach rumble, reminding me that I hadn't eaten for the better part of 2 days, or at least not enough for it to be substantial. My legs were sore from walking so much that I sat down, wondering how Haas could be so fit. Was it conditioning? He seemed like he walked most places, or even going for a run. It'd match up to what I knew of Sal as well, being used to lifting and carrying things from what I heard from Orlando. Sitting down on the log, I buried my face in my hands, sighing out. I'd made a mistake coming out here, but at least now I'd remembered not to do something so stupid again in the future. Okay. That's interesting. Osmond grunted, standing stiff. I wanted to tell him what happened, to apologize for not taking his warning seriously, or at least what I assumed to be one. Okay. He closed the door slowly behind him, eyes on me as he gauged that my reaction would be. My eyes narrowed as he approached the bed. Sitting down, I expected him to say something, but instead we sat in silence for a few minutes while it seemed he tried to figure out what best to say.
Are you all right?
I went to speak, but found myself clenching my chest, groaning in pain instead.
I'll take that as a no. You were very lucky out there, Dave. A moment later or anything that happened, and you'd likely be, well.
He wasn't helping, and if anything, the pain in my chest was increasing the more he spoke.
I should also apologize for injecting you, as I did. Yeah. None were too impressed that I was ready to sedate you the way I did, but I'd rather be disliked for a bit than risk you going into cardiac arrest. It'd be a shame that after Benson intervened.
I frowned at him, the pain in my chest slowly improving the more of a dull throb. While uncomfortable, it was sinking in that I was somewhat safer than what I was, however long ago. It was I'd arrived back at the mansion.
I'm not helping, am I?
No.
However, I'm here of my own want. The others demanded I apologize, but I answer to no one. Well, except for Benson. When I feel so inclined.
He caught me smirking a little, taking it in stride.
That aside, I do want you to know you're safe. You've slept somewhat well through the night, as we've been taking turns watching over you. It's about mid-morning, no sign of him yet, although Benson's been keeping watch.
My breath hastened as panic started to creep in, Osmond catching the chance to end my composure nearly immediately.
Which I should say is a good thing, given that Benson around has no...
Which I should say is a good thing, given with Benson around.
No harm shall come to you. I can't say why, but I can't promise. But I can promise that's the truth.
He places a hand on my shoulder, and rubs it gently. Although all it did was make me tense up, not that he seemed to care.
I'm afraid to say it. Dave, tonight might be a bit rough. Your friends have many questions, and truth be told, so do I. We weren't out there. What happened?
He pulled his hand away immediately, and immediately I went to speak, finding my words caught in my throat.
Run as fast as you can.
I clenched my head, groaning. The campsite, the mill, Jack. My head instinctively went to the spot my hoodie pocket would have been in to get the syringe for protection.
If you're looking for what your friends found, I've confiscated it. I overheard Haas mentioning something about it and didn't see what it was. Dave, believe me, it's taking me everything I have not to grill you for information now. But, well, I believe that after you've proven the vault works, I have little place to do so.
Why? It hurt to talk. My throat was dry, like I hadn't had water in days.
Dave, if the vault worked the way it did, and you hadn't seen something that marked this event, then perhaps this wasn't traumatic enough.
My fists tightened around the bed sheets, jaw clenched, and baring my teeth at him.
Or more accurately, this could just be the result of someone else intervening.
I didn't understand, frowning and trying to form another word, but instead falling into a coughing fit. What does someone intervening mean? Because, yeah, it would make sense that, like, Dave would have been able to use the vault to sidestep Jack, but that doesn't seem to be an option. Someone intervening. Well, I hope that they explain that at some point.
Or it could just be a case of you not having the time to go potentially test the vault. You've been out of the mansion more than once in the last few days.
Why I hadn't gone to the vault? Had I been that distracted to not warrant going to check it out? As I thought, I remembered wandering down to the main road, the thoughts I had at the cliff, then again at the river. If the vault was keeping everyone alive, including myself, then did I not use it because I didn't want to survive? I whined, a throbbing in my chest sinking down into my stomach and back up again, over and over to the point it made me feel sick.
Dave, do you want me to leave?
I didn't look at him, not really sure how to respond.
Dave, you should rest. I could medicate you so you drift off, but only if you need the assistance. Alternatively, I could just inform the others that you're still resting.
Again, I stay quiet. My decision came in the form of me laying back down and rolling over so I was facing away from him. Cuddling into my pillow in an attempt for comfort, I felt Oswin leave the bed and walk away, only sure that he left the room when I heard the door open and then close once more. Okay. Okay. I knew about the jammer, but Haas hadn't fixed it. Did that mean someone else had fixed it? Or was there another? Or was this just some freak cell phone outage? Okay, but this is still, like, my favorite scene. Like, it's so fucking cute. And, you know, it's got Tyson, and David is so cute. Oh my god, it's just... This whole scene. I feel bad how poorly I read it the first time. But... you know, it'd be that way. I mean, that scene sucks. Like, it feels bad. It feels bad. Like, it really just does. I want my dad. Like, oh. And oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh.
And I want my brother back.
Oh. Why is Tyson so perfect, guys? Why is Tyson so good? Actually, man, so I think it's cute. It's cute. It's got everyone. It's super cute. Man, Roswell's tiny. Like I always forget how small Roswell is. And of course, like Dean's a big boy. He's a big old bear. I got asked on stream today to redraw this. That's dating when I'm recording this video, but you know, will I do it? I don't know. Oh, so you go into the side room and it's Haas this time. Okay. I really liked this scene with Tyson. It's super, you know, it's cute. I love it. It's Tyson. I love every scene with Tyson. He's great. Especially the scene of him beating you up, like hot. So, I guess I know what you've been keeping buried now, huh? My gaze dipped to the floor, and quietly I mumbled my reply. Yeah. Sorry that it took this long for you to find out. He sighed, shifting how he was sitting, looking uncomfortable. Now that I know what it is, I can't blame you. Hearing it from Tyson, seeing you just break like that was kind of scary. If Ty weren't around, I don't know if I'd even still be here. You can't mean... When Dad died, I guess I mostly just gave up because it was easier than just accepting what had happened. The first week I spent in nearly entirely in my room, huddled in the corner. Probably wouldn't have bathed unless Tyson dragged me in there and washed me himself. He really went that far? I mean it when I said Tyson was a good person. Maybe he just didn't want me to forget things, or maybe he was keeping himself busy. I just don't know. The way you talk about him almost makes it sound like a boyfriend, or at least that's what I would have thought he thought if he didn't just straight up call you a brother. Honestly, I don't really know anymore. All I know is that he's special to me, and I think that's good enough. Haas nodded slowly. Well, I'm not sure if you saw the note, but I did, yeah. It was nice. I'm still not sure how I feel, but I'm lighter now, I guess. Wait, was this always a scene with Haas? Now that I think about it. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just kind of trying to skim through this. I'm trying to remember the rest of this conversation because I don't remember this. Just something like that. Just don't go breaking down again. Okay. Okay. Maybe now he's found a friend in Haas and meant they're both they both stick around, or maybe I'd see more of Haas because of it. Oh. Do we always? Is this the first time seeing the classroom? I don't remember this. Respect. Okay. My mind turned to school and how Haas showed up one day made everything more exciting. Maybe it was because of the first time we crossed paths, or maybe it was because Anime Club was a lot more energetic with him around. From sitting in my bed to sitting at one of the school desks, I looked at the familiar sight of the room we used the Anime Club for from time to time. But you enjoyed it. I did, yeah. But not at first, but I think it was just so different to begin with. Even making you dance? I didn't mind, although I remember Orlando being constantly out of breath whenever you wanted us to do the group stuff. And the cosplay. I don't mind that too, although it's still something that I don't quite understand. Almost seems like I won't get a chance to now. You sure there's not a more important thing on your mind? Like what? Like if the kiss meant anything. Did it? When has anything been that clear cut between the two of us? Before we arrived, I didn't even think you could be into guys. Or that you had a bunch of secrets about your past that you'd be keeping from us. You had secrets too, Dave. Secrets that you seemed to keep from me as well, despite everyone else knowing them. I didn't mean to, Haas. It's just hard, you know? For what it's worth, I'm sorry. You should probably apologize to the real me instead of just the dream version, though. Damn. I watched him get closer to the desk I was sitting at, planting his hands for support near the edge and leaning closer to my face. My heart seemed to flutter in my chest, and I gulped, finding myself leaning forward as well, barely inches from his face. But before I could kiss him, he faded away. Soon with him the rest of the room. Everything slowly faded into an inky black, but my mind settling back. Oh, I can skip it. With a frown, I scratched my chin. Was it really alright to be watching a movie at this time? Okay, well, I'm down for a movie. Sure, then let's do a movie. And if Dave wants to join us, he can. I turned to look at Haas, thinking back to the dream I had. If he was going to be watching a movie, then talking to him might need to wait, but how long could a movie go for anyway? I don't know, what's the longest mainstream movie? I'm sure there's some indie art house film that's like 5 days long, but like, how about a normal movie? Like a normal mainstream movie that you would totally watch in theaters. Usually they cap out around like 3.5, right? Right? Okay. Sure, I was curious about whether or not he'd be sticking around, or at the very least keeping in contact with Tyson after the month was up, but a lot of that was for selfish reasons. Dave, I always do that really loud, don't I? I can't do these deep voices very well. I'm sorry. I'm not an actor. I'm not Hasu. Dave, if you decide you want to watch a movie later, you're welcome to join us. You're joining us, Sal. Thank fuck for that. Because I thought I'd be in for another anime day. Excuse you, nothing wrong with watching anime for a whole day again. Not everyone likes anime like you do. Like we do, you know. Have you told Dave yet about how you're a fellow weeb? Ty made a grab for Haas, but was body blocked by Sal with a lazy hand on his chest. It seemed to be enough for him to concede to the point, though. Not that he took that as a sign to fill me in on what I'd missed, though. Okay. I sigh out, scratching my head. Fear was getting to me despite all of the other important things going on. I almost died. Someone else could have, if Oswin Osmond's warning rang true, and the pressure of me being the only one to do anything about it was causing me to stress. Shooting the back of the door one last look, I turned around and wandered over to the stairs just to sit down. Can't do it, huh? I look up, surprised at the sudden appearance, and then around as if expecting others to be around given I hadn't heard him approach. Can't do what? I caught you staring at the back door. No wonder after what happened. You're scared of going outside. No kidding. I feel like I shouldn't be, but... Dave, you almost died. You're allowed to be scared, and honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less. But it's so silly, isn't it? To be scared of just outside? Haw sat down next to me, leaning back to the rest on his elbow as he sighed out. Are you scared of outside? Or of who you ran into? I think both, maybe. Whining, I rubbed my face and mimicking how he was sitting. I don't think I had enough coffee to really know. If you're struggling to think, water is going to do better than that. Or, tea. I made a face, thinking about leaf juice and sitting up a bit straighter. I don't know why you like that stuff so much. Maybe the same reason you like coffee. Yeah, I don't think that's it. Well, come on, let's go somewhere. What do you mean go somewhere? Don't you have a movie to go watch with the others? It can wait. Why can't it wait? Won't they just be sitting around wondering where you went? They're adults, they can figure it out. I think I'm going to end the part here, so I'll see you around, everyone.